Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Those people don't know you. They don't know what's inside of you. They don't know what you're made of. And let me be real with you sometimes. They're not even looking out for you. Sometimes they're just afraid that your light will outshine theirs. Afraid that you might just make it when they couldn't. Afraid that the world might recognize something in you that they've been hiding inside themselves. But you don't need to apologize for wanting more. You don't need to shrink back because they're uncomfortable with your potential. The world is full of people who will try to tell you who you are, what you can do, and where you belong. But the only person who gets to decide who you are, who you're going to be, and what you're capable of is you. You are the author of your own story. And it's time you start writing it like you mean it. People are going to doubt you. That's a fact. They'll laugh at your dreams, question your every move, tell you it's impossible, and tell you to stop wasting time. And let me tell you, they'll do it with a smile. They'll do it with good intentions. They'll tell you they're just trying to protect you, trying to keep you safe. But I'm here to tell you something that you probably don't want to hear. Protection doesn't always mean love. Sometimes protection means keeping you small, keeping you stuck, keeping you exactly where they are so they don't have to feel uncomfortable seeing you break out of your shell. And that's not love. That's fear. And fear is the enemy of progress. You see, when people tell you you can't, what they're really saying is, I couldn't. They're projecting their own limitations onto you. They're not seeing your potential. They're seeing their own inability to push past their own limits. But that's not you. That's not your story. Your story is still being written, and it's in your hands. It's not about what they say. It's about what you do. It's about showing up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. It's about getting up when they knock you down, dusting yourself off, and saying, not today, not today. It's about going beyond what you think you can do and stepping into what you know you can achieve. Not because you have to prove anything to anybody, but because you owe it to yourself to see what's possible. You owe it to yourself to see how far you can go, how high you can fly, how much you can accomplish when you believe in yourself, when you trust your vision, when you refuse to let the opinions of others shape your destiny. Look, let me break it down for you. The road to success, real success, the kind that feels good in your soul, the kind that makes you proud of the person you've become, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a straight line. There are going to be bumps. There are going to be setbacks. There are going to be days when you feel like throwing in the towel, when you feel like nobody believes in you, when you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You're going to wonder if it's all worth it. You're going to question whether or not you should listen to the voices telling you to just quit and go back to what's comfortable. But I'm here to tell you that's when it matters the most. That's when you've got to dig deep and say, I'm not done yet. I'm not finished. That's when you prove them wrong. Not with words, but with action. Not with excuses, but with determination. You're not proving anything to them. You're proving it to yourself. You're showing yourself just how strong you really are, just how far you can push yourself, just how much you can endure before you break through. And trust me, you will break through. You will get to the other side of the struggle. You will rise above the negativity, above the doubt, above the fear. You just have to keep going. And when you get there, when you finally see the results of all the hard work, all the sacrifice, all the times you chose to keep going when everyone else told you to stop, you're going to look back and say, I did that. I earned that. You know what? I know there are days when it seems impossible. I know there are days when you feel like you're running on empty, when you wonder if it's worth it. But that's the moment where you've got to find a way to keep pushing. And sometimes you have to go against the grain. You have to do what nobody expects you to do. You have to put in the work, put in the hours, put in the sacrifices when nobody's watching. You've got to keep grinding even when the world is telling you to take a break, to slow down, to settle. But settling is for people who don't believe they can have more. You're not one of those people. You've got more in you. And here's the thing when you prove them wrong, it's not about throwing it in their face. It's not about rubbing their noses in it. It's about proving to yourself that you were always capable. You were always worthy. You were always enough. You just had to believe it. You just had to take that first step. You just had to get up when they told you to stay down. You just had to keep moving when everyone else gave up. But I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to be hard. Real talk. There will be moments where you feel like you're not cut out for it. There will be days when you question your own ability, when you feel like you're not making any progress, when you want to throw in the towel. But you know what? That's exactly when you've got to dig deep and remind yourself of why you're doing this. Remind yourself that you didn't come this far to stop now. You didn't sacrifice everything you've sacrificed to quit when things get tough. You came this far because you knew that deep down you were meant for more. You knew that you weren't going to let anyone's doubts define you, and now you've got to prove it. Now, let's be real, there will be people who will tell you that you can't make it, that you're not the right person for the job, that you don't have the right background, the right skills, or the right resources. But you know what? None of that matters. Because the only thing that matters is your will, your willingness to keep going, your willingness to keep pushing through the pain, the rejection, the doubts, the failures. Because those are just part of the process. They're not signs that you should stop. They're signs that you're moving in the right direction. They're signs that you're getting closer to the breakthrough you've been working for. And when that breakthrough comes, when you finally see the fruits of your labor, when you finally get to the place you've been striving for, you'll look around and see all the people who doubted you, all the people who said you couldn't make it, all the people who tried to hold you back. And you'll smile. You won't rub it in their faces. You won't gloat. You'll just smile because you know something they'll never understand. You proved them wrong. You proved yourself right. So don't let them stop you. Don't let their doubts define you. Don't let their fears hold you back. You've got a vision. You've got a dream. And if you believe in it enough, if you're willing to fight for it, if you're willing to keep pushing even when it feels impossible, you will prove them wrong. You will show the world what you're made of. And when that moment comes, you'll know that you didn't just do it for them. You did it for you. Because you knew all along that you had what it takes. So keep moving, keep fighting, keep proving them wrong. Beverly core message is that you are the only one who truly defines your potential. Others may doubt you, but your belief in yourself and your vision is what will push you forward. Never let the opinions of others shape who you are or what you're capable of achieving. The journey to success is not easy. You will face setbacks, challenges, and moments of self-doubt. The key is to keep going, to prove to yourself that you can push through adversity and come out stronger on the other side. People will always try to tell you that you can't do something, but those voices often come from their own fears and limitations. Don't listen to them. Use their doubt as fuel to keep pushing toward your goals. Ultimately, the journey is about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever thought possible. It's not about getting validation from others, but about pushing your limits, proving your worth to yourself, and achieving greatness on your own terms. There is something deeply transformative about believing in yourself. It's not just about having confidence or feeling good about your abilities. It's about truly trusting that you have the strength, the skills, and the resilience to rise above the challenges life throws your way. Believing in yourself is not something that just happens overnight. It's not something that's handed to you on a silver platter. It is earned through struggle, perseverance, and an unwavering commitment to yourself and your dreams. And it is one of the most powerful forces that you can harness in your life. The world is full of noise. The noise of others telling you what you should do, who you should be, how you should act. The noise of self-doubt, fear, and insecurity creeping into your mind, telling you that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, that you don't have what it takes. If you listen to all that noise, you will never move forward. You'll be stuck in a cycle of questioning your worth, your ability, and your future. But when you learn to block out that noise, when you learn to tune into your inner voice and trust that you have the power to achieve your dreams, that's when real change begins. Belief in yourself is the foundation of all success. It doesn't matter how talented you are or how many resources you have if you don't believe in your own ability to succeed. You could have all the talent in the world, all the skills and all the potential, but if you don't believe in yourself, you will never put in the work needed to realize your full potential. You will hesitate when you should take risks. You will doubt yourself when you should trust your instincts. You will second guess your decisions, wondering if you're on the right path. And as a result, you will miss opportunities that could have changed your life. Believing in yourself is about more than just thinking you can do something. It's about truly feeling that you are capable of whatever you set your mind to. It's about having the courage to go after what you want, even when others are telling you that it's impossible. It's about having the audacity to stand firm in your vision for your life and refuse to let anyone or anything convince you otherwise. Sometimes you may find yourself facing a world that tells you that you're not enough, that you're too young, too old, too inexperienced, too much of this, too little of that. The world is full of judgments and limitations that try to define who you are and what you're capable of. But here's the truth: you don't need to listen to them. Your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. Your potential is not limited by the narrow-minded views of those who cannot see what you can accomplish. Belief in yourself starts with recognizing that your value doesn't come from external validation. It doesn't come from the praise of others or from being accepted by society. It comes from understanding your own worth, knowing that you have something unique to offer the world, and trusting that you are worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. When you believe in yourself, you stop looking to others for approval. You stop seeking permission to chase your dreams. You stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough, smart enough, or talented enough, because you already know that you are. You already know that you are worthy of everything that you want to achieve. You no longer need external validation to feel good about yourself or to take action. You trust yourself, and that trust becomes the driving force that pushes you forward. The truth is, when you believe in yourself, you begin to take responsibility for your own success. You stop making excuses for why things aren't working out, and you start finding solutions. You stop blaming others for your circumstances, and you take full ownership of your life. Belief in yourself means understanding that while external factors can influence your journey, it is ultimately up to you to determine how far you go and what you accomplish. Believing in yourself also means acknowledging that failure is a part of the process. When you trust in your own abilities, you understand that setbacks are not signs of weakness or failure. They are stepping stones on the path to success. They are opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. Every successful person has faced failure, but what sets them apart is their ability to get back up, dust themselves off, and keep going. They don't let failure define them, they let it fuel them. And they keep moving forward because they know that failure is temporary, but their belief in themselves is permanent. There's also an incredible power in self-belief because it allows you to keep going even when things get tough. Life is not a straight line. There will be obstacles. There will be times when it feels like you're taking one step forward and two steps back. There will be moments of doubt, of fear, of uncertainty. But when you believe in yourself, you have the inner strength to push through those moments. You know that no matter how many times you fall, you can always rise again. You believe that the obstacles in front of you are not there to stop you, they're there to test you. They're there to show you just how badly you want your dreams. And every time you overcome an obstacle, you grow stronger. You grow more confident. You grow more convinced that nothing can stop you. Belief in yourself also means taking action. It's not enough to simply say that you believe in your dreams or that you have potential. Belief without action is just a thought. Real belief pushes you to do something. Real belief pushes you to take the steps necessary to make your dreams a reality. You have to put in the work, put in the effort, and take risks. You have to step out of your comfort zone and face your fears head on. The world will not hand you success on a silver platter. You have to go out there and get it. And the first step in that process is believing that you are capable of doing the work, of facing the challenges, of pushing through the hard times. When you truly believe in yourself, you stop making excuses. You stop saying that you'll wait for the perfect moment, for the right conditions, for the perfect circumstances. You stop waiting for someone to give you permission to live the life you want. You stop waiting for things to be easy because you know that nothing worth having comes easily. You stop waiting for a sign and you start creating your own signs. You start taking ownership of your future and believing that you are the one who has the power to shape it. It's important to remember that belief in yourself doesn't mean that you won't face moments of doubt. It doesn't mean that you will never question your abilities or your path. It doesn't mean that you won't feel fear. Belief in yourself means that even when those feelings come up, you don't let them stop you. You acknowledge them, but you don't let them control you. You keep moving forward, trusting that you have what it takes to overcome whatever obstacles are in your way. Belief in yourself means trusting that no matter what, you will figure it out. You will find a way to make it happen. When you believe in yourself, you don't just trust your ability to succeed, you trust your ability to learn. You trust that every experience, every challenge, every victory, and every failure will teach you something valuable. You trust that you will grow through the process, and that growth is just as important as the outcome. Believing in yourself means knowing that the journey is just as important as the destination, and that every step along the way is a step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. Belief in yourself is not about being perfect. It's not about having all the answers or being free of mistakes. It's about being willing to take the leap even when you're uncertain, to keep going even when you don't have all the pieces. It's about trusting that your efforts, your growth, and your determination will lead you to the right place at the right time. And above all, it's about refusing to let anyone or anything tell you that you can't. Because you know that the only person who has the power to stop you is you. So when the doubts come, when the setbacks happen, when the world seems to be pushing against you, remember this: your belief in yourself is your shield. It is the thing that will carry you through the toughest of times. It is the thing that will keep you standing when everything else falls away. It is the thing that will carry you to places you never thought you could reach. When you believe in yourself, there is nothing that can stand in your way. You've got this. Believe in it. Doubt and adversity are inevitable companions in the pursuit of any dream. It doesn't matter how driven, how talented, or how well prepared you are, at some point you'll face moments where doubt creeps in and adversity knocks you down. It's a part of the journey. But what truly separates those who succeed from those who don't is not whether or not they face doubt and adversity. It's how they respond when those challenges come their way. How they handle the pressure. How they rise above it. Let's be real for a moment. There will be days when you'll feel like everything is against you. There will be times when you question your ability to succeed. When you wonder if it's all worth it, when the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry. You'll feel like you're walking through a storm, and no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to find shelter. But in those moments, you have to remind yourself that doubt is a natural part of growth. It's a sign that you're pushing your limits. It's a sign that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, which is exactly where you need to be if you want to achieve something truly great. Adversity, just like doubt, is a part of life. And while it might not be something that you can avoid, it's something that you can overcome. It's something that can make you stronger, more resilient, and more determined than you were before. The key is understanding that adversity is not a roadblock, it's a stepping stone. Every challenge you face, every setback you encounter is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to prove to yourself that you have what it takes to rise above, to persevere, and to come out the other side stronger than ever. But before you can truly overcome doubt and adversity, you need to understand something important. Doubt does not mean you are incapable. It doesn't mean you're destined to fail. In fact, doubt is often the first step towards success. It's the moment when you realize that the journey ahead won't be easy. It's the moment when you begin to understand that achieving something worthwhile requires effort, persistence, and a willingness to keep going when things get tough. Doubt is the result of fear, the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, the fear that you're not enough. And these fears can be paralyzing. They can hold you back, stop you from taking risks, prevent you from moving forward. But the trick is to not let fear control you. It's to acknowledge the fear, recognize it for what it is, and then push forward in spite of it. Because the reality is there's no way to avoid fear. No one is immune to it. Everyone feels it at some point in their journey. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never felt doubt or fear. They're the ones who kept moving forward, even when fear was at its loudest. When you face doubt, the first thing you need to do is check in with yourself. What is the doubt really telling you? Is it telling you that you're not good enough? That you don't have the skills or experience to succeed? That the obstacles are too great to overcome? These are the thoughts that feed your fear. But here's the truth, those thoughts are just noise. They don't reflect who you are. They don't reflect your true potential. They are the stories you tell yourself, the narratives you create based on your insecurities, and you don't have to believe them. You don't have to let them define you. You need to recognize that doubt is a normal response to challenge. It's your mind's way of protecting you, of trying to keep you safe from failure, from pain, from rejection. But here's the thing, in order to grow, you have to embrace discomfort. You have to push through the doubt and step into the unknown. You can't let fear hold you back from pursuing what you really want. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, there will be times when you feel like you're not good enough or that the odds are stacked against you. But every successful person has been there. They've all had moments where they question their ability to succeed. But what sets them apart is that they didn't let doubt stop them. They used it as motivation. They turned that doubt into determination. And when adversity strikes, when life throws you a curveball and everything seems to go wrong, that's when your true character is revealed. That's when you see what you're really made of. Adversity is the ultimate test of your resolve, your resilience, and your willpower. It's the moment when you have to decide whether you're going to give up or keep going. It's the moment when you have to choose to rise above the challenge, to keep pushing forward, to believe that you can overcome anything that comes your way. But overcoming adversity doesn't mean that you won't experience pain or frustration. It doesn't mean that you won't feel like giving up at times. It doesn't mean that the road won't be tough. In fact, overcoming adversity often requires you to go through the hardest moments of your life. It requires you to face your fears head on and push through the storm. But the beauty of adversity is that it gives you a choice. You can choose to let it break you, or you can choose to let it make you stronger. One of the most powerful things you can do when facing adversity is to remember your why. Why did you start this journey in the first place? What is it that drives you? What is it that keeps you going when everything else is falling apart? Your why is the anchor that will keep you grounded when you feel like you're losing your way. It's the reason you get up every morning and keep going, even when things are difficult. When the doubt and adversity come, your why is what will remind you of your purpose and keep you focused on the bigger picture. You also need to recognize that adversity is not permanent. It may feel like the challenges you're facing will last forever, but that's simply not the case. Every obstacle is temporary, and every difficult moment is an opportunity to learn and grow. The things that seem impossible now will eventually be a distant memory, and the strength you gain from overcoming them will stay with you for the rest of your life. So, in the midst of adversity, remind yourself that this too shall pass. The pain, the frustration, the doubt, it will all fade. But the lessons you learn and the strength you build will stay with you forever. One of the most important things you can do when overcoming adversity is to stay focused on the present moment. It's easy to get caught up in the what ifs. What if this doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? But these questions only feed your doubt and fear. Instead, focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can do right now in this moment. Take small steps forward, one at a time, and trust that those small steps will add up to big progress over time. Surrounding yourself with the right people is also crucial when facing doubt and adversity. The people you spend time with can either lift you up or bring you down. When you're going through tough times, it's important to have people around you who believe in you, who support you, and who will remind you of your strength when you can't see it for yourself. You don't need people who will tell you what you want to hear. You need people who will challenge you, encourage you, and help you see the bigger picture. Because when doubt and adversity come, it's easy to lose sight of your potential. But the right people will help you find it again. And finally, when you face doubt and adversity, it's crucial to be kind to yourself. It's easy to beat yourself up when things aren't going well, to feel like you're not good enough, or that you're not doing enough. But self-compassion is an essential part of overcoming challenges. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to keep going. You just have to keep trying. And when you stumble, when you fall, when things don't go as planned, don't be too hard on yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness, patience, and understanding that you would offer a friend in the same situation. Because the truth is, doubt and adversity are just temporary roadblocks. They don't define who you are. They don't determine your worth. What matters is how you respond to them. What matters is your ability to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. What matters is your belief in yourself, your resilience, and your commitment to your dreams. When you learn to overcome doubt and adversity, you learn that nothing is impossible. You learn that you are stronger than you think, braver than you realize, and capable of more than you ever imagined. And in the end, when you look back at the obstacles you've overcome, you'll see that they were never there to break you, they were there to make you unstoppable. There is an undeniable power in the voices we hear. We hear them in our heads, echoing the doubts, the criticisms, the fears, and the insecurities. These voices come from a variety of sources, from our upbringing, from past experiences, from the judgments of others, and from the very essence of our own fears. These negative voices, though often unseen, can have a profound impact on our thoughts, our choices, and our lives. If we allow them to, these voices can shape how we view ourselves and the world around us. But the truth is, these voices do not define us. They do not have the power to control our futures unless we let them. Learning how to silence these negative voices is one of the most powerful tools we can cultivate. But this doesn't mean simply ignoring them or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging that they are there, understanding where they come from, and then choosing not to let them dictate our actions or beliefs. It's about reclaiming control over the narrative of our own lives and refusing to let the negative voices hold us back. The first step in silencing these voices is to recognize them for what they are: distractions. They are the mental chatter that distracts us from the truth. They come in many forms: self-doubt, fear of failure, the belief that we're not good enough, and the constant comparisons to others. These voices can be paralyzing. They make us question our decisions, second-guess our actions, and hesitate when we should be moving forward. They often arise when we're about to take a risk, make a big decision, or step out of our comfort zones. In those moments, the negative voices can become loud, almost deafening, as they try to convince us that we're not ready, that we're not worthy, or that we're just not capable. But here's the thing: these voices are not the truth. They are not the reflection of who we are or who we are meant to be. They are simply noise. They are the product of fear, of past experiences, of our insecurities. They don't know our true potential. They don't know the strength we carry within us. These voices are rooted in doubt and fear, and they want us to play it safe, to stay comfortable, and to avoid the possibility of failure. But if we listen to them, we risk never taking the steps necessary to grow, to evolve, and to achieve our dreams. The next step is to challenge the negative voices. Every time a negative thought or doubt enters your mind, ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it based on facts, or is it just a product of fear? Often you'll find that the negative voices are simply exaggerations or misinterpretations of reality. They tell you that you're not good enough, that you can't succeed, that you'll never make it. But these are all just assumptions. These voices are not based on evidence or truth. They are simply reflections of the fear of the unknown, of failure, and of the judgment of others. When you challenge these voices, you begin to see them for what they are: lies. They are the lies that we tell ourselves because we're afraid to take risks. But when you take a step back and examine them critically, you begin to realize that they don't hold the weight they once did. You begin to see that your potential is not limited by these negative voices. Your ability to succeed, to achieve, and to grow is not determined by these doubts. And when you realize this, you can begin to let go of the power these voices have over you. One of the most powerful ways to silence the negative voices is through action. The negative voices tend to grow louder when we hesitate or when we're unsure of ourselves. But when we take action, when we move forward, despite the fear and the doubts, the voices begin to quiet. This is because action is the antidote to fear. When we take steps toward our goals, no matter how small they may seem, we begin to prove to ourselves that we are capable, that we can handle the challenges that come our way. Every step we take diminishes the power of the negative voices, because every step we take is a reaffirmation of our strength, our resilience, and our determination. Taking action in the face of fear is one of the most empowering things we can do. It's a statement to ourselves and to the world that we are not defined by our doubts or our fears. We are defined by our actions, by our willingness to step into the unknown and face challenges head on. Every time we take action, we become stronger, more confident, and more capable of overcoming whatever obstacles come our way. And the more we silence the negative voices, the more we open ourselves up to the possibilities that life has to offer. Another critical aspect of silencing the negative voices is to reframe your mindset. The negative voices thrive when we allow them to define our perspective, to shape how we view ourselves in the world. But we have the power to shift our mindset. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles or reasons to give up, we can choose to view them as opportunities for growth. Instead of focusing on our perceived weaknesses, we can choose to focus on our strengths. Instead of listening to the voices that tell us we're not good enough, we can choose to remind ourselves of all the things we've accomplished, the obstacles we've overcome, and the strengths we've developed along the way. Reframing your mindset doesn't mean ignoring the challenges or pretending that everything is easy. It means choosing to see the possibilities rather than the limitations. It means choosing to believe in your own potential, even when the negative voices are telling you otherwise. It means focusing on what you can control, the actions you take, the decisions you make, and the mindset you choose to adopt. When you shift your mindset, you begin to silence the negative voices because you no longer allow them to define you. You take back your power and refuse to let fear and doubt dictate your actions. It's also important to recognize that silencing the negative voices is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. The negative voices will always be there. They will continue to surface, especially when we're about to make a big change or take a big risk. But the key is not to avoid them or to wish they would go away, it's to learn how to manage them. It's about recognizing that they are a part of the process and that their presence does not determine our success. It's about learning how to drown out the noise and stay focused on our goals. One way to do this is to create a practice of self-affirmation. This involves regularly reminding yourself of your strengths, your capabilities, and your worth. When you make a habit of affirming your abilities, you begin to silence the negative voices because you're reinforcing the truth of who you are. You start to believe in yourself, not because of external validation, but because you know your own worth. You know that the negative voices are not the truth, they are simply obstacles you must overcome in order to step into the greatness that lies within you. Additionally, surrounding yourself with positive influences can be incredibly helpful in silencing the negative voices. The people we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on our mindset. If you're constantly around people who reinforce your doubts, who tell you what you can't do, or who focus on the negative, it's going to be much harder to silence those voices. But if you surround yourself with people who uplift you, who believe in you, and who encourage you to keep going, you'll find that the negative voices become easier to manage. The right people can help you see your potential when you can't see it yourself. They can remind you of your strengths, encourage you when you feel like giving up, and hold you accountable when you need it most. It's also important to develop a sense of self-compassion. We can be our own worst critics, and this self-criticism can amplify the negative voices in our heads. But when we learn to treat ourselves with kindness, when we give ourselves permission to make mistakes and grow from them, we can begin to quiet those negative voices. Instead of berating ourselves for every mistake or setback, we can choose to see them as opportunities to learn. Instead of focusing on our flaws, we can choose to celebrate our progress no matter how small. Self-compassion helps us recognize that we are not perfect, but we are worthy of love, respect, and success just as we are. The negative voices will never fully disappear. They will always be there lurking in the background, trying to convince you that you're not enough. But when you learn how to manage them, when you learn how to challenge them and replace them with more positive, empowering thoughts, they lose their power. You stop letting them dictate your actions. You stop letting them control your life. And instead, you take back the reins. You begin to believe in your own strength, your own potential, and your own ability to achieve the impossible. The negative voices may still be there, but they no longer define you. You define you. In life, we often find ourselves caught up in the pursuit of proving something to others. We want to prove our worth to our families, our peers, our colleagues, and even to strangers. We seek validation, recognition, and approval from the world around us. And while it's natural to want to be acknowledged, the truth is that the most powerful and fulfilling kind of proof comes not from others, but from within ourselves. When we focus on proving ourselves, not others, we tap into a deeper sense of purpose, self-confidence, and personal growth that no external validation can ever provide. The first step in proving yourself is understanding the distinction between seeking approval and seeking authenticity. Seeking approval is an outward pursuit. It's about shaping our actions, our decisions, and our lives based on what we believe others will think of us. It's rooted in fear, the fear of judgment, the fear of not measuring up, the fear of rejection. But seeking authenticity is an inward pursuit. It's about aligning our actions, decisions, and life with who we truly are and what we truly want. It's rooted in self-awareness and the desire to live in a way that feels true to our own values and desires. We've all been there trying to live up to someone else's expectations. Maybe it's the expectation of your parents who want you to follow a certain career path. Maybe it's the expectation of society which tells you what success looks like. Maybe it's the expectation of your friends or peers who push you to live a certain way, dress a certain way, or act a certain way. We internalize these expectations, and before we know it, we begin to shape our lives around them. We make decisions based on what we think others will approve of rather than what feels right for us. But the problem with this approach is that it keeps us disconnected from our true selves. We start living for the approval of others instead of living for our own happiness and fulfillment. When you focus on proving yourself, not others, you start to prioritize your own dreams, your own vision, and your own potential. You stop measuring your worth based on external factors and start measuring it based on your own growth and progress. You become less concerned with what others think and more concerned with what you think. You start to ask yourself, am I living in a way that aligns with my values? Am I pursuing goals that are meaningful to me, not just to others? Am I staying true to who I am, or am I trying to fit into a mold that doesn't feel right? The truth is, you will never be able to fully satisfy everyone's expectations of you. No matter what you do, there will always be people who criticize you, judge you, or tell you that you're not enough. And if you live your life trying to prove yourself to others, you will always be chasing an elusive goal that is impossible to reach. External validation is fleeting. It's dependent on other people's opinions, which are constantly changing. 1 minute, you might be praised for something you did. The next, you might be criticized for the same thing. This inconsistency can lead to a cycle of seeking approval, only to feel unfulfilled once it's achieved. On the other hand, when you focus on proving yourself, you shift your energy from seeking external validation to internal validation. You begin to ask yourself, am I proud of what I'm doing? Do I believe in the choices I'm making? Am I becoming the person I want to be? This shift in focus brings a sense of peace because you realize that your worth isn't dependent on anyone else's approval. It's dependent on how you see yourself and the integrity with which you live your life. Living to prove yourself means acknowledging your own strengths, talents, and potential. It means recognizing that you are capable of achieving great things and that your value is not determined by how others perceive you. You don't need anyone else's permission to pursue your dreams. You don't need anyone else's approval to make decisions that align with your heart and your vision. You are the author of your own story. You are the one who gets to decide what success looks like for you. And when you start living for yourself rather than for others, you become more empowered, more resilient, and more focused on the things that truly matter. This doesn't mean that you should disregard the opinions of others altogether. Healthy feedback, constructive criticism, and support from loved ones can help you grow and improve. But it does mean that you should no longer allow the opinions of others to dictate your self-worth or control the direction of your life. You should value your own opinion more than anyone else's. You should trust yourself to make the decisions that are right for you, even if they don't always align with what others think is best. Proving yourself also involves setting your own standards and goals. When we focus on proving ourselves, we stop measuring our success based on what society or others define as success. We create our own definition of what it means to be successful, which might look completely different from what others expect. Maybe success for you means finding balance in your life, nurturing meaningful relationships, and pursuing a career that aligns with your values, rather than climbing a corporate ladder. Maybe it means creating art, traveling the world, or spending more time with your family. The point is, success is deeply personal. What works for one person may not work for another, and that's okay. It's easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to others. Social media, for example, has created an environment where it's easy to see everyone else's highlight reel and measure your own life against theirs. You see people living their best lives, achieving great things, and getting recognition for their work. It's natural to feel like you're falling behind or that you're not doing enough, but the truth is, comparison is a thief of joy. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you lose sight of your own unique path. You begin to doubt yourself, question your worth, and feel like you're not measuring up. The key to proving yourself is to focus on your own journey, not on someone else's. Your path is unique to you, and so is your timeline. Just because someone else seems to be ahead of you doesn't mean you're not on the right track. Just because someone else is achieving something you want to achieve doesn't mean you're any less capable of achieving it yourself. It's important to recognize that everyone is at a different place in their journey and there is no right timeline for success. Your success is not dependent on anyone else's. When you focus on your own progress and growth rather than comparing yourself to others, you'll find that you can celebrate your own victories without feeling like you're falling short. Another key element of proving yourself is learning to embrace failure. Failure is not something to be feared or avoided. It's something to be embraced as a part of the process. When you focus on proving yourself, you understand that failure is not an indication of your worth or your potential. It's simply a stepping stone on the path to success. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become better. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who never fail, they're the ones who are willing to fail and keep going. They're the ones who don't let failure define them, but instead use it as fuel to propel themselves forward. When you prove yourself, you also embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. Growth doesn't happen when we stay in our comfort zones. It happens when we challenge ourselves, take risks, and push through obstacles. Proving yourself means stepping into the unknown, facing challenges head on, and refusing to give up even when things get tough. It's about having the courage to keep going, even when the road is difficult and the negative voices try to convince you to stop. Finally, proving yourself means embracing who you are, flaws, imperfections, and all. Too often we try to hide our weaknesses, downplay our failures, or present an image of ourselves that we think others will accept. But the truth is, our flaws and imperfections are what make us human. They are what make us real. When you prove yourself, you stop trying to be someone you're not. You stop pretending to be perfect and embrace the authenticity that comes with being yourself. You realize that your value is not determined by your flaws, but by your ability to learn, grow, and keep moving forward no matter what. Proving yourself is about acknowledging your own power and believing in your own potential. It's about knowing that you are enough, just as you are, and that you don't need anyone else's approval to live a life that's true to you. When you prove yourself, not others, you free yourself from the expectations, the judgments, and the limitations that others place on you. You take control of your own story and create a life that aligns with your values, your passions, and your purpose. And in doing so, you become the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, but for you.